I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in a Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch. I am Sori. Vin's on his way. We are about to start the 3rd song of our DJ stream. A DJ stream is where we go live and you get to watch us do live reactions.
Boom, 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 boom.
That's what we're doing right now. If you're a square and you're watching this in YouTube carols, then that's too bad for you. But for us, here we are. We're about to do Earl Sweatshirt. And the name of the song is Faucet.
Faucet, ladies and gentlemen. We do have the lyrics on screen, I believe. Having said that, dear listener, we're going right into it. This is Earl Sweatshirt. I've never heard of this guy before, Earl Sweatshirt.
Me neither.
So shout out to Negative Vibes for... see, one of the reasons that we do the DJ streams is because this is one of the ways we get introduced to songs that that would have never gotten in on the channel. Now, this definitely wouldn't have gotten in on the channel because... It's a rap song and it's a metal reaction channel. I've been out of the rap game for a while, so the only rapper I am really familiar with right now is Meek Mill. But shout out to the homie.
Yeah. Hey, we got a couple of super chats that we probably want to shout out.
Shout out to Chris. Hey guys, long time since I've been in a live stream. How you been? We've been doing pretty good. A little bit better now that you're here, Chris. We appreciate you. Shout out to all the loyalists, and then obviously the big homie Zombie Chat. Now she wants a donut.
Yeah,
if you want to know,
you were escaping so you could go get a donut.
If you want to know why she wants a donut, you're gonna have to rewind.
You're gonna have to check out Aesop Rock Fryer Starter.
Not to be confused with ASAP Rocky, which now Fryer Starter makes even more sense. Shout out to Pony, and here we go, guys. This is Faucet
Sweatshirt
by the big homie Earl Sweatshirt. Let's go. Now let's go.
Chef Sweaty grazing your faculty. Face getting gray from the ash, but I'm laughing as for tracing me, nigga. Fuck out my face while I'm thinking. Ain't step foot up in my mama place for a minute. My day's numbered. I'm focused heavy on making the most of them. Feel like I'm the only one pressing to grow upwards. Still fuck you and whoever you show up with. Trying to see an image, some steady your hands. Who you calling your mans? Bet you thought he was solid. Really just sand washing away with the water. I'm a land mammal staying away from the altar. Shit changing to August. In the wake of that August, last autumn the leaves fell and I raked in a profit. Disobeying the doctor. The good guy prescribed fate never caught him. Chasing these rabbits, whole face in a faucet. Yeah. And I don't know who else to call home lately. I hope my phone break, let it ring. Toe to toe with the foes, new and old. Basic hoes tryna cage them like the pole. When I run, don't chase me. And I don't know who else to call home lately. I hope my phone break, let it ring. Toe to toe with the foes, new and old. Basic hoes tryna cage them like the pole. When I run, don't chase me. Silent so the funds don't phase me. On tour wildin' by the truck stop races. Hard as finding me a common thread between us. Raised different, my mama, she born bred the leader. Get shit poppin' like the guns off safety. Saying easy and doing harder when you get caught up. Raised neck and neck with Knox, so I'm a fluent brawler. Rain checking on your plot if ever bred your papa. Out the toaster, I gotta focus. My family problems shrunk and widened with the bumps in my personal finest. It hurt cause I can't keep a date or put personal time in. Or reverse to the times when my face didn't surprise you. Before I did the shit that earned me my term on that island. Can't put a smile on your face through your purse or your pocket. Shit in a pile, never change. I'm stupid for trying still. Just too busy wildin'. Yeah. And I don't know who else to call home lately. I hope my phone break, let it ring. Toe to toe with the foes, new and old. Basic hoes tryna cage them like the pole. When I run, don't chase me. And I don't know who else to call home lately. I hope my phone break, let it ring. Toe to toe with the foes, new and old. Basic hoes tryna cage them like the pole. When I run, don't chase me.
Wow.
Does that seem like a beat that we would end up picking to do something with?
Well, yeah, I would definitely do that. Mm-hmm. This is the hip hop I grew up with. Like, I'm not saying this is what hip hop was real hip. I'm not saying that because like I like some of the new shit. Some of the
You like that mumble rap, babe?
No, the mumble rap. I don't understand it. I'm not gonna say it's trash. I'm gonna say I don't understand it. I'll say it that way. And when I say I don't understand it, I mean I don't understand the appeal of mumble rap because I came from
how anyone could like that.
You had a reserved beat, but you were just like trying to chill to. That you were like you're riding on the subway and that's like when most you come up with your shit. You know what I'm saying, you're on the subway or whatever, and then whatever. But this is what he says about the song. I outgrew my house when I was 16. I got back. I tried to live there, so I was out. So me and my mom were kind of on weirder speaking terms. Oh. I would go for like a month without talking to her. It's a song Faucet that touched on it really, really well. That was the ones I didn't write on. That's also some shit that happened on this album. A couple of them. I didn't have to write. Like, that's how I was with the music shit. So, like, yeah.
Someone else did? Or he's saying
nah,
he basically wrote himself?
He just can't. You know how, like, you hear the beat and you go, and then, like, I come out.
Yeah, I mean, that only happened to me a couple times, but yeah.
I come out with the song. But,
yeah.
That's how I usually write. But, like, you get an instrumental and, like, you're just riding on the subway. And the subway, like, has its own kind of beat because of the, it's hitting the tracks at a certain, like, tempo or whatever. And so that's, like, a lot of guys come up with shit like that. Like, so.
Okay.
So this is kind of like the wheelhouse. This is like perfect for me. Like when I'm tuning guitar, it's got the E and it's like right in the middle. It's like, yes. Mm-hmm. This is what I came up with. I'm not saying it's like superior. I'm just saying like it's a reserved beat and you're just rapping about your life and all the rest of it. Like, boom. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
That's I'm not even going to comment on the Public Enemy thing, the Fight the Power thing. I actually didn't really like Public Enemy growing up, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, like this is real. This is like the rap that I like. And so like if you look at this lyrics, what he's saying, he said, "I don't know whose house to call home lately," and so that's like a major point of the song. Is that
that's sad.
Well, I mean, it's the...
He's saying he doesn't know where to call home? I
don't think it's sad because there's that whole adage, like, you can never go back home in the sense that, you outgrow that. Mm-hmm. And so what you called home when you were a kid, even when you go back there, it's not like that. It's not the same. And I don't think that that's sad, because from a biblical perspective, it's supposed to be like that. For this reason, a man leaves his father and mother, and he cleaves to his wife until become one flesh. You have to start your new life. So I think God wired that into the system, because if you could go back home and have everything be like when you were a kid, you were dependent on your parents. So if you could go back home and everything could be exactly like how you were when you were a kid,
They didn't raise you well.
well, it's not so much they didn't raise you well. It's just the impetus to strike out on your own and make your way for yourself as a man or a woman in our current context. It would be difficult. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be a lot more difficult for you to strike out on your own, because, you know, if you could go back and everything would be the same, then it's not like that. But it's never like that. It's never like that. And, you know, there have been so many books that have been written about that, and about like coming of age and getting to the point where you go back and it's not the same. And yeah, it's sad. I do think it's sad. I'm not saying it's not sad to a degree, but I think that's one of those situations. It's not something that can be avoided. And it's part of growing up. It's part of growing up, and, you know, understanding that that's how life is, and that's how life is supposed to be. Like, even like the tension between him and his mom, like, I don't know exactly what's going on in his personal life with his mom, but there is sort of that tension that you have with your parents, where you kind of had it the last kind of year that you were living there.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Like,
I just saw somebody's rating, and I just
there's
thought
a
it was
certain
funny.
member of your family.
I rate it 4 sweatshirts.
There's a certain member of your family that, you know, when you were living there, like the last year, like, you wanted to get out of there.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
Because there's that whole, like, I'm becoming a man, or I'm becoming a woman, and you're trying to treat me like a child, but then the parent's going to say, well, you're still living
this is
under
my
my
house,
roof, and
yeah.
I'm paying you know what I'm saying? So, what do you want? Go ahead. What were you saying? This was written in 2015.
yeah, I think, like, when I see movies or whatever, and the child, like, returns back, well, they're an adult, and they return back to their home, and their room is still there.
Yeah?
I love that.
Yeah.
But you don't. You think that that's unhealthy? I love that.
I don't
Like,
even...
wish so. There's so
I
many
don't
times.
even think about that.
But that's because you think that's because you moved around all the time.
I mean, I don't know, man.
Like, I had one room for like all my time was spent in that.
We just got done watching Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah.
And the guy that died, like, they kept his room, like, exactly the same from when he was a boy.
Yeah.
But when you walk into the room, it's very interesting, because it's cowboys and all these you know, markers of masculinity, and it's like, oh,
That's what.
well, you did that because you were trying to project something about your son, because you could never really truly accept him. So to me,
sad.
so I didn't really think about that, but go ahead. Like, I
I mean, for
when
me,
I see that stuff, I'm just like, I think there's something, like, weird about the parents.
oh,
The
I
parents-
agree.
The parents
no, I
haven't
agree.
been able to let go of the kid. Like,
No, I agree
to
with
me
that.
is, like, that's strange to me.
I agree with that. There's just, I think, like, for me, I hit a certain point where my bedroom, it was like my haven. You know,
Yeah.
certain people didn't really step foot in there. I was pretty much on my own when I was in there, and eventually my parents had bought us each like a stereo, like a, you know, like a boombox.
Yeah.
Actually, basically, they had bought us one of those for Christmas, and we were allowed to listen to like whatever tapes they gave us, but obviously any device they give you has a radio.
Yeah.
So when I hit a certain age, I would play other music. I think I was like 15, 16, 17, somewhere in there. Like, I would just turn it down super low and play stuff. If I played something that didn't sound Christian, it'd be a knock on the door. What are you listening to? Shut that off, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And you didn't have to be listening to it very loud. Like, you had, like, I think if they heard any sounds, they listened to hear if it was Christian or not.
Yeah.
Because they really thought music was like a very, very heavy negative influence if it wasn't Christian. So anyway, like, my room was like that safety spot for me. Like, there's so many days that I can remember that where I was like, whatever, like, not doing good. And I would go into my room, and I had the front side of the house where the sunlight shone in.
Yeah.
And that room had 3 big windows on the front and 1 on the side. So it was like just windows all over the place. And so much sunlight came into that room. And you know how I am about sunlight. Sun just beamed right in that room, and I had a nice big queen size bed, and I would just lay on my bed and write in my journal for like hours.
is he talking about his room, or is he just talking about his mother's house?
No, I was just saying, like, having a spot, like, knowing that you have a spot. Like, I feel weird when I go back to my parents' house, too. Like, but I always think the reason I feel weird is because it's totally different. Like, they've remodeled friggin' everything. So it doesn't even, it's like the shape of my old house, but like nothing in it is, you know, if your parents like move and then you'll see like people will go back to their old house and they'll be like, oh, this used to be my room and this is, it feels like that. I feel like I'm in a stranger's house and it's just, and the other thing too is, you know, when you're a kid, stuff seems bigger than it actually is. And then when you go back as an adult, you're like, whoa, like that hallway used to feel so friggin' long going to my room. And now I'm like, no, it was a really short hallway. And when I go in there, it just has this weird, like, I don't know, something happens inside my head, like, where I just feel this, like, weird sort of weird feeling because everything is, like I said, shaped the same but looks completely different.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean.
But I don't think, yeah, I agree, like, I do think that would be weird for a parent to do. Sorry if there's any parents out here watching that have like a room set up like that still. Like it does sound like, okay, you're not trying to let your kid go. Like they're not a child or a baby anymore. Like, you know, I think it's a great idea to keep, you know, their favorite toys and stuff like that from when they were kids. So that when they're an adult and they have kids of their own, they can pass those on. I always loved sharing my toys with the kids, the few things that I had left.
Well, he says, ain't step foot in my mama place for a minute. My days are numbered. I'm focused heavy on making the most of them. I feel like I'm the only one pressing to grow upwards. And still fuck you and whoever you showed up with. Just trying to see an end and some steadier hands. Who you calling your mans, but you thought he was solid when he was really just saying. Like, he goes back there and like nobody's trying to grow.
Oh, is that what he's trying to communicate?
Well, that's what he says. He says, I'm the only one pressing to grow upwards.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I did see that line. Yep.
So, and then, his man's still there and everything is like, oh, yeah, it's the same. But at the same time, like, you're the same dude. You're the same unreliable guy who can't, like, progress forward. And that's kind of like, it's cool, like, talking to, I had a conversation with actually one of the homies from way, way back in the day. One of the guys that talk about all the time on the channel, but me and him were talking on Sunday, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was Sunday. I was going for a ride, and I was talking to the homie. We had, it was a really good chat, but, like, he's got a couple businesses he's doing and things like that, and I got a couple businesses, and him and the other homie are still in the band. They're in the band, they're making music and all this, and it's like there's some growth there. Like, growth isn't necessarily, like, a regional thing. Like, oh, he's in a different place. Because New York is, where are you going to go after New York? I mean, you can only go down after New York. That's how New Yorkers think. That's the way that we think.
Really?
Like, yeah, like, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. So, when you're in New York, like, you really truly believe that. And honestly, like, life over here is simple compared to over there. Like, there's so many things. You just get up and go wherever you want to go, and you don't worry about what time it is. You don't worry about, you're not, I left. There's shit you can't leave home without in New York City. So, like, at least where we were coming up. So, like, it is an easier way to live, but at the same time, like, it keeps you sharp. Like, and I could tell, like, he's still sharp. And there's that whole continuity. Like, he's still the same dude, and I'm still the same dude, but at the same time, like, he's got a kid, and, I thought that was never going to happen.
Oh, really?
I never thought it was going to happen. Like, because kids take a lot out of you, and they take a lot from you, but they give a lot to you as well.
Yeah.
But when you're immature and you're young, all you think about is what the kid is going to take from you.
Mm-hmm.
And a kid has that kind of effect, like, where you're just going to go out there and, like, oh, it's going to take this and that from me. But, like,
it's true. Yeah.
He's talking about, like, grinding because he's pushing past, he's working in to get a profit. He's not listening to his doctor. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the shit you do when you're a man and you're trying to grind. I don't know whose house to call home lately. I hope my phone break. Let it ring. Toe to toe with the foes. New and old. Basic hoes. Try to cage him like the Poe. Like, the girls haven't changed. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's crazy. Like, I don't know. Like, I was, obviously, inevitably, it comes to talking about girls, and it's kind of the same over there. Like, it's kind of the same over there. Like, it's kind of the same type of situation. And so he was like, yeah, I just need to go to somewhere different, man. And he's asking me about the caliber of girls in Maine or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I mean, but the hood is a hood wherever you go. Like if I brought him down to, Russell Street or whatever, me and him were talking because there was this giant drug dealer guy who we watched movies about, we heard songs about, and apparently like this dude was living like literally like right next door to me when I first I lived like
Well,
right there.
Are you not saying his name for a reason?
Well, Alpo was the guy's name. I just doubt anybody here would know who he is. But the dude's name was Alpo, and he was in a witness protection program. They literally sent him up to our city, and like literally we must have ran into dude like. And we watched, I grew up like hearing songs about this dude, Harlem World, because Mace.
Even I heard of Alpo.
Mace was my favorite rapper, so like he was straight from Harlem. Like, are you sure you knew Alpo the drug dealer or Alpo the dog food? There's dog food.
No, not the dog food.
He wasn't called Alpo up here though.
Okay, that's all. I just know I've heard the name Alpo for. I would have told you if somebody said you have to tell me who he is. I would have said he was part of the mafia. So maybe is there another Alpo part of the mafia or something?
Oh, he wasn't part of the mafia.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying maybe I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
is there somebody like Al Pacone or something like that? Maybe that's something. Al Patrone.
Al Pacino.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Patron is a drink.
It can't be that one.
Stop.
It can't be that one. I was just going by what I had heard.
Stop it. Yeah. So anyway, like it was cool, like reminiscing with him because like he had
Al Capone.
Al Capone is like a world famous mobster. Like.
Right. That's what I just said. I said I think that I got it mixed up and I was thinking about a mobster. That's where I didn't hear of that guy. I heard of that guy when you told me about him. But it did freak me out though when you told me because I was like, wait a minute. That's true. If I was doing the witness protection program, I would absolutely send people to Lewiston, Maine.
100%. 100%.
Suddenly I didn't feel quite so...
Well, I mean, look, you end up in WITSEC because you're,
Yeah.
You don't have it in you to do that kind of time. Mm-hmm. Like those boys, you're not trying to... And he was, from all accounts, he was a nice guy, never gotten any altercations.
No, he was not a nice guy, though.
I'm saying their experience of him here, like he was a good dude. Like he would help his neighbors. He was always helping his neighbors. They were sad when he left. Like he was always taking care of everybody. So, I mean, it's. But anyway, we were just talking about back, and you really, Mace, Mase, Doug. The Mace was from Harlem, right? So there was beef between Harlem rappers and Brooklyn rappers. So Brooklyn rappers were, Jay, B.I.G., that type of guy. And then you had Mace and Cameron, Dipset, all those guys.
Okay.
Those guys were from Harlem. The only reason they came together was because Puff signed Big, who's obviously a Brooklyn rapper, and he also signed Mace, which is obviously a Harlem rapper. And then when Mace came out and blew up, everybody in New York was trying to rap like Mace. Mm-hmm. Like to this day, my rap style is just straight up a Mace copy, but nobody knows because nobody really is familiar with Mace's style. And Mace came out with this record, Harlem World. It was really his only record. He came out with another record after that, but Harlem World was like the real like Mace. Like that shit was hard, bro. Look at you and look at us. Your guns never bust. Harlem bringing with the thrush. Man, you better hush. I could be inside the cage. You could still get touched. Mace was crazy. And then he went to Co-op City where we went to school, and the Section 5 dudes robbed him, took his chain after that. Like, all of his street cred went down the window. Anyway, shout out to Mace. The point of that song that I got from the song was you really, really cannot go home again. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. I think it's a consequence of, like, growing up and being a man. And so, all your old homies, your mom and all that, like, if they're in the same place, like, that's not good. Like if I left 20 years ago and I come back and you're in the same place, you're the same person. And you could just reintegrate with your parents. Like if Dorian could just come in here and reintegrate, like, but see, it's different because we're kind of raising them to be adults, like while they're here. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so like it's kind of like one long running conversation. And the other thing is like he doesn't get treated like a child. They start getting treated like kids, like I don't know, probably 4, 5, 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. It might be a little bit different. Or maybe I'm just saying that because they're my kids and I don't want to let them go. But anyway, I think it's a really good song. It's a good coming of age song. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
It has escaped me now.
M.A. $. Sign.
No, I was gonna say for movies and shows when we're like, there's no character development here.
Yeah.
That makes a bad movie. So
Yeah.
It also makes for a bad life. You need to have character development.
Yeah, you gotta develop. Yeah, you gotta develop. And so a lot of times that means that you can't really go back home and like have that exact same experience. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Shout out to Earl. That's a solid 9 for me.
9. Okay, I'm gonna go with a solid 9. I would have rated it higher if I could like feel the lyrics, but lyrically, I just wasn't really.
I felt it because
You should have written a love story or something instead.
Yeah. I felt it because it put me right back on the 5 train going home. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I bet.
That was that was important for me. It's a good reminder. It's a good reminder of what it was like. And unless you're in that situation, like you really truly are never gonna really understand like how that feels being on that train. It's like a lot of nostalgia, a lot of really good nostalgia. Because it wasn't all bad in the hood. Like there is room for a lot of nostalgia in the hood. It's hard to explain because even when you're on the train and you're feeling the rhythm of that, and I used to go by Yankee Stadium, so like there was always like that little 3-second gap where you could see like into the stadium as the train is going, and that was just normal everyday shit. Now it's like, Dorian. If Dorian was like that, he would get the historic Yankee Stadium and all that. Yeah, Shine. Shine was around for 2 seconds. Then he got in the beef at the tunnel and he shot up all those people, and then he got put in jail, and Puff let him take the rap, but that's how Puff is. Anyway, Vin out.
Sorry out.
Go.